Have you ever thought of real estate as a professional career? Many people have, and little wonder. It's an exciting, important, and rewarding profession. But the real estate profession is also a demanding one. And that's something few people realize. Over the course of 4 programs, we're going to take a look at just how demanding. And by doing so, help you decide if you're truly suited to a career in real estate. Welcome to the first of 4 programs in our series, A Career in Real Estate. I'm your host, David Higgins. I've been a real estate practitioner and a licensed broker for 22 years. It's my intention over the course of this series to give you insight into exactly what it means and what it takes to be a real estate professional. We're going to explore the role of the real estate professional during a real estate transaction, the skills and knowledge required to successfully complete that transaction, and the personal attributes and attitudes that separate the professional from the non-professional. Possessing that knowledge will help you when it comes time to decide whether a career in real estate is a career for you. Now, to help explain this information and to help increase your understanding of the subject matter, we're going to employ a number of teaching aids. We're going to talk to experienced real estate professionals about their lives and their work.
I think it's important that when the individual enters the real estate business, that it's a team project, and that if they have a spouse or children, that they all understand that this new business means odd hours, and sometimes it means a lot of disappointments because you just can't be places where you had hoped to be.
We're going to dramatize the actions of a real estate professional as she works through the 7 stages of a real estate transaction, bringing that learning to life.
Now, in addition, if you'll notice there, the closing price exactly matches your requirements. Now, I think that your ex-wife was looking forward to how quickly this whole thing can be over as a big factor in all of this.
We're also going to use graphics to explain certain technical concepts and to keep you aware of where we are in the learning process. And of course, I'll be on hand to introduce each new subject and to reinforce and expand on the information you'll be learning. So, if you're enrolled in a real estate licensing course already, or if you have ever seriously considered a career in real estate, or even if you're just interested in learning more about the world of real estate in general, then this series will be of real interest to you. Okay, we've got a lot of real estate to cover, so let's get started. When most people think of real estate, they think of an office just like this one. And they think about the buying and selling of existing houses. But residential real estate is only one of several areas that you can specialize in. And that's what we're going to look at in this first program. We're going to step back and examine the world of real estate, its opportunities and challenges. Specifically, we're going to learn about 8 different areas of specialization. The meaning and nature of professionalism within those areas, the demands the career makes on you professionally and personally, the rewards a successful career can afford you, and the educational process you have to undertake to receive your license. Now let's start by looking at those areas of specialization that involve sales and leasing. Residential resale involves the sale of existing homes and is perhaps the most people-oriented of all the areas of specialization, though it too requires a number of technical skills and specialized knowledge.
There is a list of skills that you're in need of when you get into the real estate profession. I think people skills is a big one. You're talking human relations, where you're trying to communicate with people, not just talking to them, but understanding what they're saying. I think as far as the technical skills that you're needing when you're in real estate, they're varied. Starting just simply from the contracts, you want to know what the logistics are within it, so educating yourself and updating yourself on the legalities and finding out what each section will mean to you and to the parties involved. Once you do that, a lot of it's follow-up, making sure things do fall into place for closing dates, contacting the right people, the banks, the lawyers, and finishing the process, making sure everything goes smoothly on closing.
New home sales is similar to residential resale, except you have a shorter time span in which to win over a customer, so you have to be fast on your feet, and your product knowledge is of paramount importance.
Probably the biggest difference between new home sales and resales is in new home sales, you're only selling your product, your builder's product. That's it. And you've got to know it backwards and forwards. When the people come in, if they don't like it for whatever reason, you can't say to them, let's look in a different area, let's look around the corner, let's look for something bigger, something smaller. You don't have that flexibility. You really have to know everything in order for them to make the deal come together. And it can be a long process, but when they move in, it's all worth it, and everybody should be happy. But you've got to know it all.
Condominium sales is a relatively new phenomenon. In fact, you're not selling properties so much as you are a lifestyle. The salesperson in condominiums needs to understand a number of legal concepts and subtle marketing nuances.
I think the difference in ability to sell condominiums really comes down to you have to have interpersonal skills to sell real estate. That's a given, but you have to be more sensitive around prospective purchasers, because condominium is a different kind of animal. You're really selling lifestyle when you're selling condominiums. So people that don't know it, haven't done it before, can be intimidated by it. And a lot of what I do is educating first-time buyers to what condominium is, and this is how it works, and it's great if it's for you.
IC&I, or industrial, commercial, and investment sales and leasing, is one of the most exciting areas of real estate, and definitely not for the faint of heart. Transactions are extremely complex, and often millions of dollars are involved in a single deal.
That the length of time from introduction to conclusion of a deal can be anywhere from 6 months to 24 months. I've had transactions go as long as 2 years before we're able to satisfy all of the things. So there's a great deal of patience involved. I think that it's as much people skills as it is technical and research abilities, and it's really the ability of being able to put the pieces of the puzzle together. And that's the time when you can sit back, when the signatures are on and the documents have been handed back to the two parties, that the congratulations are truly earned and deserved.
While rural and recreational sales may sound like it's a laid-back, slow-paced area of specialization, don't be fooled. It involves lots of travel, long days, and some very specialized knowledge.
The processes vary, of course, from selling different types of real estate. You have to learn many different facets of the business, which may include learning about septic systems, well systems, waterfront properties, and the different various laws, zoning, and municipal codes that are in effect to control the land use. You have to be willing to work long hours. It's a very demanding job socially. As soon as you have something planned to do, that's when you have to work always.
Let's stop for a moment and take stock of what we've heard so far. I think it's safe to say that each of those areas of specialization have several things in common. First and foremost, you need to possess a number of technical skills such as the mathematics involved in property appraisal and mortgage financing. You need to have a grasp of a wide body of knowledge including real estate law, construction products and practices, and current events. And you need to possess certain attributes. You need to be a people person, be a good communicator, and above all, a good listener. We'll look at each of those skills and aptitudes in more detail in later programs. For now, I want you to think objectively about those skills and qualities and measure them against the knowledge you have of yourself. Now, not all areas of specialization directly involve sales or leasing. Let's take a look at some of the quiet professions. Don't confuse property management with the activity of rental agencies or building superintendents. It's a highly complex occupation which requires plenty of administrative and executive skills.
Basically, a property manager assists owners in ensuring that their investment is maintained. By maintaining their investment, we deal with areas such as maintenance, collecting rents, ensuring that the property is leased, maintaining the physical integrity of the building so that the owner's investment is maintained. So that entails all sorts of things like placing contracts, ensuring the snow is removed and the landscaping is done, as well as the bills are paid and the income is collected.
Fee appraisal is one of the most highly complex areas of specialization because of the many physical, political, economic, and social factors which can affect the value of any parcel of property.
The evaluation process depends on the kind of property. The general kinds of properties that we have, such as houses and that, usually involve a comparison with other similar properties that have sold in the recent past. Unique properties, such as churches or anything which is custom built, involve an examination of the reproduction cost, the cost to reproduce the structure, and some analysis of the underlying or vacant land value, usually joined together, some consideration given to depreciation and wear and tear and so on. If you have an income-producing property, such as a small apartment building or perhaps a large apartment building, then we have to look at the amount of income that the property generates over a certain period of time, and we estimate the value based on the amount of income that it produces.
For purchasers, financing tends to be the most confusing and technically demanding part of a real estate purchase. Consequently, people who specialize only in financing have become a big part of the real estate profession.
Our job is to arrange financing for people at the best possible rates and terms, given their circumstances. On a straightforward deal, the process is not a long, involved process, assuming you've done your work in the first place. If you have not done your work in the first place, it's back and forth with the lender to the board, to us, to the lender, and back and forth to get all the answers to the questions that anybody may have. A straightforward deal may take 24 hours to get approved. A complicated deal may take 2 weeks to get approved. And depending on the lender and whether the client wants a prime rate mortgage, that may take a little longer if there's something different about the deal.
Property management, appraisal, and mortgage financing. All interesting, all highly technical areas of specialization, and all requiring a different kind of individual, which is an important point to keep in mind because if one area of specialization doesn't suit you, another might. For example, if you're not comfortable dealing with people face-to-face but have an aptitude for numbers, then stay away from sales and look hard at a career in appraisal. While each of those areas requires its own mix of people skills, technical skills, and related knowledge, they all have one thing in common: professionalism. It's a concept that underlies much of this series and one we'll be coming back to again and again. So before we go any further, I think it's worthwhile to listen to what the professionals have to say about professionalism.
Professionalism in this business, I think, is being able to go home at night when you've made those few sales and know that you've represented yourself and your builder in a very honest and upstanding manner.
A professional is one that will get the best job done for the client, get the best mortgage available for the client, regardless of whether he makes less money at it or not.
Professionalism, I think, is the ability or the delivery of service to the owner in an ethical and moral and competent manner.
Professionalism, first off, means governing yourself in such a fashion that you deliver a high-quality product to your client under ethical standards and with good business practices.
A professional IC&I practitioner would be the full-time practitioner. That's somebody that you could seek at any one time as a cooperating broker on any transaction.
I think for me, professionalism comes down to being honest in what you do.
I really believe that education is the key to professionalism, along with integrity and honesty.
Good business practices, good ethics. Real estate is not a short-term profession. I think if you want to be in real estate, you should consider it as a long-term profession, long-term career. Your benefits will come from long-term efforts. Good ethics is the only way to stay in it long-term.
It would surprise me if some of those comments didn't surprise you. Honesty, integrity, losing the sale for sake of maintaining ethics. That's not the image most people have of the real estate profession, but it's the image each and every one of those people have of themselves. In fact, it's more than an image. It's the essence of real estate. Your reputation relies on your ability to practice real estate in a professional manner. Okay, so that's the business side of the business. The process, the skills, the knowledge. And by this point, I think you'll agree it's not an easy road to riches. In fact, it's an extremely demanding profession. And it's not just demanding in a business sense. It's demanding in terms of your personal life as well. Talk to any real estate professional and they will probably tell you the same thing. Real estate isn't just a career. It's a way of life.
The profession, real estate itself, can be very demanding in many areas, your personal life as well as your business life.
You can't govern your time. You have no say of who's going to come in through the door. You may sit there all day and not see anybody, or you could have 10 people all come in within the same hour. And you've got to be able to structure yourself and have everybody attended to properly.
I've had calls as late as 4 o'clock in the morning. I've had calls at 7 in the morning.
During the last real estate boom that we went through, when people were working 12, 14 hours a day, 7 days a week, they were making good money, but they sacrificed or they made a trade-off against their family life.
You basically have forfeited every weekend and every evening. It's the old story as I told my husband before I got married. If I came home and there was 2 messages, one of them was that the office called and it was urgent, and the other one was that my husband called and it was urgent, the office would get the call first.
Hi, Ron, it's me. Your wife. That's right, the lady with the red hair. Listen, darling, I'm running just a bit late, so how about if I just meet you at the school? Okay. Of course I'm going to be there. Our daughter's very first school play. I wouldn't miss it for the world. How is our little starlet? Why don't you put her on? Hi, Holly. It's Mummy. How are you? Good. I'll be there, Pumpkin, I promise. Okay. Okay. Why don't you put Daddy back on? Okay, just say goodbye to him then. Okay. Bye-bye. Liz Fisher. Hello, Mr. Sharma. How are you this evening? Oh, no. No, getting out of here by 7 will be early for me. What can I do for you? Oh, I thought it was the right home, too. Yes. Now, when can we get your wife out to see it? Tonight? Oh, yes. Yes, great. That's good, actually. Okay, how about if you and your wife meet me here at my office in, say, half an hour? Good. And that way I can take you over in my car and show you some things along the way. Great. Okay. See you then. Bye-bye. Hello, Holly? Hi, it's Mummy again. Listen, Pumpkin. Mummy needs you to be a big girl, okay? I know I promised to come to your play, but something really, really important has come up, and I just don't know if I'll be able to make it.
That's just the way it is in this business.
You get the idea. If you're going to enter this profession, you had better be prepared to deal with long days, high stress levels, and a limited social life. And through all of that, be able to maintain a professional, friendly, and understanding attitude. But it's not all work and no play. For those that stick it out, especially through those first years on the job when there's a seemingly endless amount of things to do and learn, a career in real estate can be extremely rewarding, both financially and emotionally.
Well, the first reward and the essential reward would be just the satisfaction of putting together sometimes a very involved transaction.
I personally feel that one of the other primary rewards for me is the satisfaction of achievement, dealing with people who want to get something that's very, very important to them.
Being able to take these people and bring them to probably the biggest decision they're ever going to make in their life is such gratitude. I can't explain it. It's a high. There's no other way to explain it. It's like getting the home run in the bottom of the ninth. I mean, you're there and you've done it, and it's incredible. It's just a great feeling. It really is.
Hi, Barbara. Hi. Thank you very much. But this is way too generous. Oh, thank you. So listen, how did the move go? I know. It takes a little while before it feels like home. You gotta move your stuff around a little bit. Listen, I'm gonna be working out between 5 and 6. Why don't you meet me at the club and we'll have a coffee after? Okay, a juice. Oh, listen, thank you very much for referring your cousin to me. No, really, this is how I get most of my work. Well, I'm glad you're happy. You were a very easy person to work with.
You feel very good about yourself when you see other young couples or a developer or whomever it may be to be very happy and excited about a project or a home that you sold them or a cottage or recreational property.
Obviously, financial is one consideration. If you do not make the money, you're not going to stay in the business long enough. However, I find it rewarding to put a challenging deal together, be it a residential or commercial deal or whatever, because I enjoy doing it. So it's a challenge.
On a day-to-day basis, you are allowed to try a lot of your skills and to develop a lot of your skills.
If you enjoy the idea of being your own boss, then there can be no greater profession to be in my view, to give you that particular sense of satisfaction.
Financial rewards, personal freedom, the challenge of putting together a complex transaction or successfully completing an intense negotiation. What more could you want out of a career? I wish we could end today's program on such a high note, but we have one more topic to discuss, and it's probably going to bring you back to earth: the licensing requirements for real estate professionals. In Ontario, obtaining your real estate license takes money, energy, and at least 2 years of your life. Even after you obtain your license, you need to constantly upgrade your professional knowledge through ongoing training and education. One of the principal requirements of registration as a real estate professional is that applicants must successfully complete a licensing education program. In Ontario, the Ontario Real Estate Association, under a mandate from the Minister of Consumer and Commercial Relations, is responsible for the establishment and administration of that educational process. The program is delivered in several phases. Phase 1 is a 2-month correspondence course, which provides an overview of the benefits and limitations of a real estate career. Phase 2 involves 60 hours of classroom instruction and covers the technical aspects of real estate brokerage. Phase 3 involves 90 workshop hours and provides training in the practical aspects of real estate brokerage. At the end of each phase, you must successfully complete an examination. After passing all 3 phases, you then undertake a 2-year articling period under the supervision of a real estate broker. During that time, you must complete 3 more courses. Those courses are offered through most of Ontario's community colleges, and each course involves 40 hours of classroom instruction to complete. Should you decide to obtain your broker's license, you will need to complete a number of additional courses. Obviously, the decision to enter this exciting profession means a total career commitment. You really need to be sure about your own suitability for the profession before starting down that career path. Well, that brings us to the end of Program 1. We've seen in broad brushstrokes what a career in real estate can entail. Specifically, we looked at 8 areas of specialization. Professionalism, the demands and rewards of the profession, as well as the licensing requirements. We heard about some of the technical skills that you'll need to master. Math, research, computers, and negotiation and English comprehension. We also heard about the need to possess certain personal characteristics. To be a good communicator, to be confident and emotionally stable, to be a hard worker, and to be the kind of person who responds to a challenge. In each of the next 3 programs, we're going to see those abilities and attributes in action. We're going to follow the 7 stages of a real estate transaction and listen to real estate professionals describe what it is they do at each stage. And we're going to follow our real estate professional as she puts those principles into practice. I trust you'll join us.